Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Revolutionary Girl Utena reaction series. Back here again today for another couple of episodes. I believe we're finishing an arc here today, which is very exciting stuff, and as a result, I'm very excited to be here. Hello, welcome back. So again, I don't know for sure, but again, I'm reading the tea leaves. Episode 33 is meant to be the recap, so you would think that this would finish an arc, right? In a very similar way to episodes, 21 and 22? 22 and 23, whatever the Black Rose finale one would be. I think this, I was told to watch these together in tandem. I'm unsure if that's because the content goes together or maybe thematically goes together or because it's just going to lead to a natural endpoint of an arc, but either way, I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to see what happens here. I'm going to try not to yap as much. I feel like I've been yapping a lot and I kind of just want to move a little bit. Yeah, it's also been a big week of recording with, I did 2 of UFO and 2 of Dungeon Meshi as well, so like, I've done a lot of 2 episodes lately. I kind of planned that poorly, but I guess on the other end I'll probably catch up. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking, because guess what? There's no YouTube comments this week. Oh no YouTube comments, that's crazy. So one of 2 things happened, I think. One, you guys now all hate me, which, again, valid, but more to the point, I think we're waiting for this arc to be over and then we're just going to go bleh and going to say our piece, right? It's kind of hard to talk about episode 30, I believe it was last week, in isolation, I guess. Again, so much of it feels like the first arc of the show. So much of it feels like that Saionji episode with Utena, where, you know, Torga's manipulating things and making Utena feel certain ways about certain things, and it's boding poorly. It feels like it's purposely reflecting that, and we're going to dive into whatever Akio does with this kind of influence now that he has over Utena, right? Again, there's a lot more going on this time. The connection between Anchi is a lot more, I guess, pronounced, right, than it was last time. The Torga connection to Anchi was out of convenience. There's a familial connection this time. There's also whatever the fuck Akio was doing with the school chairman's wife thing. Overall, whatever that was strange. So that's to be considered as well. Apparently Nanami's going to be at least replacing Anchi somewhat this episode, which is an interesting look as well, and again talks to this, I guess, redemptive arc that Nanami is going through at this time, at least a little bit, right? And in all of that, I'm struggling to see how this leads up to a duel. I'm struggling to see why Utena and Akio even need to duel. I'm getting the vibe that whatever happens by the end of these 2 episodes, it's going to be bad news. Again, much like Euphonium at the moment, I was talking about this as well. You watch enough stories, again, and this isn't like, I'm not breaking ground here. Like, this is the point in the story where we're meant to hit our lowest. We're meant to hit our lowest point, like, right here. So I am fully prepared for that. Apparently 33 is going to be even worse in this regard, I've been told. So I am prepared. I'm clenched, whatever other words you want to use there. And I'm going to stop yapping, and I'm going to do the Patreon shout out, of course. I think we've rolled over to like 1 month since I started doing this thing, so pretty cool. I like that. That's awesome. So thank you for the people sticking around, and the people that cancel their membership, I fully understand as well, because like I do that a lot. I'll do a Patreon and then I'll instantly cancel because I don't want it to recur unless I'm like physically there recurring it myself. So again, it's everybody's prerogative to do that kind of thing. So yeah, pretty cool. Somebody's honking the horn outside, and I'm going to read a list of names for you. Starting with, of course, and thank you to Annie, Greg, Mickey Babbers, Trails Plus Plus, Adley, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Domobot, Ed, Flo Nightingale, Fruit, Funny Fat Guy, Gloriana Tenebrae, Gus N, Heath, Ika, Yanko Yavanen, Jacob R, Joran, Clem, Nosta, Lou, Madlad, Max, Mish, Pencil Sharp 333, Ramen Boy, Ronlad BNK, Saint Lily, Sam1373, Skeleton, Victoria S, Without a Net, Zach, Binshi, Hans Peter, Kelvin Cawthorn, Marsh, Aidan O'Brien, Nick, and Shawk. So again, I'm still figuring out this list of names to read. Like, it says to me that some of these people have cancelled, but like, their cancelment doesn't roll over until like a couple days from now. So like, I'd just rather err on the side of reading more names than less, I guess, so people get their shout out. I don't know. I'm acting weird, but yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna jump into the episode now as well. So I might as well do the rest of the shill stuff. You can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can like the video that is available to you, and I would very, very much appreciate it. You can join the Discord and talk all sorts of Utena nonsense with me because I like reading the Discord. It's always a lot of fun. And Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter and I'll follow you back. And yeah, let's dive into this sucker. Episode 31, I believe. Radio, I have episode 31, if I full screen it, up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 28 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your copy. I'm using the PGS sub, which I've been told is very similar to the Nanami sub as well, so access that at your leisure. I believe it's the Blu-ray sub as well. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking shit about subs. And yeah, there's a picture-in-picture version, if I didn't say that already. Yeah, we're gonna hit play on this. So let's give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're back. We're back with more Utena. And it's a little bit loud. Hang on, this side. There we go. I was thinking about Utena in the shower the other day, which I do at least quite often, at least a little bit. So I was sitting there cleaning my body, and I'm like, I think this opening is like telling us the order of the story, if that makes any sense. There's a reason why we've kept it the entire time. So like these two characters meeting, then we have not the sunlit garden, the greenhouse. It has a name. The birdcage metaphor. These two meet each other, they get a little bit closer. She's holding the thorny end of the rose while she's appreciating the white part of the rose, the prince stuff. Then we go do our duels. Various characters duel many, many times. Repetition and all that. Then something happens and everything shatters, and it almost looks like Utena and Anchi in conflict. The prince wakes up, everything shatters away, and then something else happens here, which I don't know yet. Which we've got like 9 episodes left or something, so. And then it looks like these two characters want to hold on to each other, pulled apart by something, and Utena's the only one left. We will see. Really? We're doing our little fable again. Or Hime-sama? Mm-hmm. Interesting placement of this, because a lot of last episode was about tearing away the fairy tale from Utena. Also, there's a bunch of really good comments on that episode 28-29 video that I should go back and reply to. You guys are all very smart. True. Was it? Her tragedy. This bodes well. That's good. Yes, Nanami. Interesting. Childhood. Mm-hmm. Keitai? Was that just somebody calling the house looking for her? And she's like playing secretary? Bro's crazy. He's on some different wave. What is this? That shit's so funny. Oh yeah, we were talking about blood types as well. I remember that from last week. Am I going to have to look up blood types and what they mean? Huh? I'm not showering with Torga. Funny. The frog's interesting too. We even showered together. Shit changed when we grew up or something. That's very pretty. Yes. I'm going to say yes. Mmm. He showers just like me. I have something to say about this as well. We're loving a lot of long pauses to this episode too. Yeah, very long. And I'm not talking about the pauses. Okay, so he knew that she was there. Oh my god, it's like a zombie apocalypse out there. Jesus Christ. He's gonna need a paddle boat soon. Uh, this is a very interesting episode thus far. Why do they like the red boy so much? I just don't get it. This is a B-type couple. We're talking about blood again? Yeah. It's a sore spot. It's probably different to mine. Oh, I see. Okay. They wanted in too. They can also moonwalk or something. Hello, Utena. Stop talking about blood. It's a sore spot. She's gonna fucking peg the phone at her. What the hell? Oh, it's these nerds. Hmm. Eh? Seems like you're projecting a little bit, Nanami. uh, it's always the banana. Okay, here comes Daddy. Who's eating the bananas, bro? Ooh, another interesting reaction there from Utena. Yes. Okay. Our hands touched. What is this? Wow. Wow. Get a room. Aren't she so funny this episode? Why can't I do this with my big brother? And she's into it too. Nanami's finding out these people are all freaks. Even bigger freaks than her. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I don't agree. How do you know that? I wasn't obvious at all. Okay, bye. All those dogs, too. Penis. True. Beautiful. Thought so. Why? That's why it's a sore spot, right? I didn't know that. Sure. What? What is happening? Also, I know nothing about blood types. Is this a thing? He's a clone? Oh my god. What a revelation. It's a really weird conflict. I get it, though. It's been the basis of your character, basically, that I'm destined for him because of this connection that I share with nobody else. But in most cases, this makes that good. Like, if you're not related, it actually makes it better. It's less Alabama. Let's put it that way. It's a really interesting technique as well with the phone. I'm liking that. This is an interesting thought experiment, for sure, for sure. Yeah. What is that? I'm not allowed to? It's my room? Cue it ringing. Ah! We're doing like a forehead temp check thing. The rose is interesting. Eh? Not a good night kiss. Stop doing that. He's a tease. He's a tease, Nanami. You're better than this. Okay, so Nanami ran away from home? What is happening? Don't ask Suabuki. We're putting? No lip out, we love it. uh, yeah, don't sleep with somebody else your age. Sleep with me. In my house. Where I'm also housing 2 other girls of similar age. This episode's a fucking... That's a goof. This one's a laugh. Huh? What is purple? Okay, you're like Big Torga. What is this film? What are they doing? Stop joking. A little bit. Shadow Girls? I don't know. Ape Escape? Who's a cuck? What are we talking about? Parasitism? A little ugly duckling, little pastiche. Why not? So the robots are trying to catch the monkey who's trying to be the ugly duckling. Ah! Jump scare. Where's the shot? Hmm. Oh, oh, oh. I thought about it for 2 seconds. I guess that explains the hair. What are we doing there? Yeah, we know. I'm very interested in those little flashes there before. Okay. Let's talk it out. Yeah, that's the interesting part. Nothing really did change. Okay. What's Anshi and Akio up to? Well, you two are sleeping together. Are they doing anything? Are we gonna happen upon it? I think we may be currently happening upon it. And then you ran away. Gotcha. I thought fucking Mikage returned. I'm scared of elevators now. I don't want to be anywhere near one. Yeah, obviously you feel some kind of way about this. You could call it jealousy, but it's probably more complex than that. Hmm. It's got a lot of hair under there. Yeah, I know. I know what they were doing. But now I guess is the cat out of the bag, so to speak? Is that the drama? That they're doing it? Good old penis tower. Ah, okay. Sure. That episode did not go where I thought it would. Obviously a pretty complex look at Nanami and whatever the hell she has going on, so that was nice. I liked that. The revelation, I guess, that they're not siblings after all, Nanami and Torga. And again, a large basis of Nanami's character has been built upon this superiority complex based on I'm the sister of the best guy in the school. So it's challenging that. It's challenging who she even is, her uniqueness, her sense of self. At that same time, she's seeing Anchi, who by all accounts is actually blood related to Akio, and she's doing what Nanami wanted to do with her brother the entire time. So it's a really weird mix of emotions like shock, embarrassment, unworthiness, lots of stuff going into that. The color contrast at the end was pretty cool too. There was also some Nanami like flashes of her and the cat, so I thought that was interesting too. Next episode, please. I can't believe we're doing more Nanami. We're doing more Nanami? Yo, I'm very confused. You think you know where the show's going, but you don't. So, structurally in my head, I was like, oh yeah, the next two episodes must be like Akio Utena stuff. That would make the most sense. Why else would there be a flashback? What would the flashback at 33 be alluding to? Right? Because from the preview there, it didn't look like what we're doing now is like big plot reveal stuff. It seemed, again, like it's more isolated to Nanami. In saying that, saying isolated to Nanami is kind of an oxymoron, considering she represents and reflects so many other characters in the show. But yeah, not what I expected. Not where I expected these 2 episodes to go based on the preview for the second one. But let's go back through and we'll have a talk about episode 31. And we're back. That was episode 31. It wasn't what I expected, but what we did get was definitely interesting. I'll put it that way. A few really intriguing techniques used. A lot of pausing, a lot of really jokey setups, a lot of repetition. A lot of repetition. Yeah, just reflecting characters, I'll say that. One of the initial ones here is, excuse my colorblind ass, but these are red roses, right? So I'm thinking about why you would put the little fairy tale fable here at the very start. One, I think it reflects nicely off the previous episode. It reminds us of, the thing that Utena is potentially casting aside for what she has now. Growing up, growing past this fairy tale, all the things that I talked about last week. But also I think so much of this episode it's the same as episode 30 was for Utena. This episode is for Nanami, or maybe even these 2 episodes, right? Much like Utena, Nanami has sold herself a little fairy tale, right? About her prince being Torga, and the special connection that they have based on blood, again, red. And it's the shattering of this illusion, this fairy tale that kind of Nanami has set up for herself, that she will be with Torga and it'll be happily ever after and all these other things, because this is predetermined, predestined. It's a return of Nanami back to the status quo, back to everybody else, back to the pack. She no longer has her special identifying feature as it pertains to Torga, right? Thus feels a complex set of emotions when confronting this, obviously loves her brother very much, but now feels as though she has no chance with him, as opposed to literally every other girl in the school that seems to be into him, bar Utena. I meant to check if blood... how do blood types work? Let me check this shit. Okay, chat, we have something cooking here. Okay. So B and B is only B and O. Okay. So if Torga is A, then that implies that Torga is also the adopted one. And that's why we don't see any photos of him, I guess, as a baby. Is that what we're getting at? I think so. Okay, sure. And then pause on neg is fucking irrelevant, I guess. The other thing I should look up, it's a big thing in Japanese culture about blood types and personality tests and compatibility tests and all that kind of stuff, right? So I should look up what a B blood type means versus an A blood type, I guess. Okay, this was like the first link from Moto Japan. Thank you, Moto Japan. Very cool. Let's start with B, because that's Nanami, right? B-type blood personality. In Japan, people with the B-type are easygoing, honest, and bubbly. It's not Nanami at all. B is the most outgoing, I can see that. Generally curious, not afraid to speak their minds. That's definitely Nanami for sure. They can sometimes express their opinions regardless of what others may feel. Because of this, they are sometimes perceived to be selfish and self-centered. Now that's the Nanami I've come to know and love. Known for creativity, being optimistic, more relaxed when dealing with problems. Yeah, some of these fit, some of these not so much. But generally, outgoing, self-centered, selfish. Sure, let's do type A. In Japanese blood type personality chart, people with type A blood are known to be highly organized, particularly precise, and pay much attention to detail. I can see that for Torga. They are diplomatic and friendly in nature, so you won't have a hard time approaching them. They seek harmony among other people, but they sometimes prefer to be alone because of their sensitive nature. Again, that's pretty broad. By design, these things are broad, so you can apply them to yourself. It's like astrology, right? That's the one with the star signs. It's like star sign stuff. They're made so you can apply yourself to them even if they don't quite fit. But yes, I can see that for Torga for sure. When conversing with people who belong to type A, make them feel comfortable and be extra sensitive, as they are known to be fragile-hearted. They are anxious and easily hurt, but it takes time for them to open up to people. If you want to be friends with them, be patient and get to know them slowly. Alright, that was a nice little lesson. I don't know if it taught us that much, but sure, it's there. Alright, how about we get into the episode, because there's a whole lot of Archeo stuff I need to talk about as well, of course, so looking forward to that. Now, this episode, if I had the subtitles on, it'd be called Her Tragedy, which we can see how that applies to our good friend Nanami, who is the her in this sentence fragment, I guess. Her tragedy is that she's no longer related to her brother. Oh no. In our opening scene, we see the establishment of a couple of little trends in the episode. One I'm going to say is the phone stuff. So essentially, she gives this person that's calling the house looking for Torga her own number, or steals Torga's phone. Either way, she's like fielding calls for him from other women, right? These women are unnamed characters. They fall into the crowd. They're no longer special, which has been a lot of Nanami's stuff. It's why she wears this kind of outfit as well. And thus, when, the thing happens in the episode and she no longer feels special because of that, loses some sense of self, blah, 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 blah. You know where I'm coming from there. The other thing in the scene is the silhouetted photos of childhood, right? It's like childhood happened, but I don't have all the details there and who was involved and when, which is kind of interesting. It's almost like my childhood and my formative years and my relationship with my brother isn't all what it seems. It may be shrouded in a little bit of mystery. I do like the motion in the painting as well. It gives it makes the memories at play seem vivid for the characters. Put it that way, right? I vividly remember having fun here, but the details? Not quite. Again, so much of these past couple of episodes have been about growing up from a young age to a, young adult. So, it's gotten across here as well, very early in the episode, starting with this kind of childish stuff, moving towards the very end of the episode, and seeing what Akio and Anshi were up to. It's a little bit of a difference, right? Again, in the dialogue here, it's pretty obvious. Stupid girl, you're nothing like me. Torgi is my brother. We're joined by blood. This will be challenged by the very end of the episode, of course. Just because I like to keep talking about it, this is a pretty obvious one. Reminds me of the first episode. This is where Utena was standing the first time before going into our little caged garden thing over here and meeting Anshi, right? So we're reflecting Utena and her position early in the show with Nanami's position now. Hey, yeah, these two characters are being reflected a lot. And also, you're being reflected a lot to whoever presides within this garden very often as well, that being Anshi. A lot of reflecting, mirroring. Now, let me get this one straight. Does Torga have two phones? I got two phones? Is he a drug dealer? Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Kind of Nanami spying on Torga, having a conversation with one girl on the phone whilst holding on to another in the moment. Just absolute playboy shit. To a ridiculous degree. It's over the top. It's, again, I said later in the episode, it's like a zombie apocalypse of women chasing him. It's quite extreme, put it that way. And I guess also establishes the idea that Torga lies to different women at different points to get what he wants, right? So he said in the phone there, he's like, "You're my only girl, baby," whatever he said, right? Once Nanami falls back to the pack after her specialness gets taken away by this revelation of blood type, right? She now understands that she may have been being lied to the entire time, like the rest of these women. She thought, no, I am special. But what if you're just not special, right? What if you don't have that special connection anymore and you see him doing this other stuff to other women? It must make you feel worried, right? Now knowing the content of the episode, we can see Torga doing some diversionary tactics here a little bit, right? She starts talking about Type B. Type B couples aren't very competitive, apparently. So then Nanami goes on to explain that dad is B and mom is B and Nanami is B as well. Obviously implying that, of course, Torga would be B as well because he's a child of two B parents, but again, you don't want her to know that, so you walk away. You say you're going to go take a shower, and you quickly invite her to come along. This features one of the long pauses of the episode, which I think characterize it. There's something in a blushing face and the color red as well, I think, is being reflected here too. Something with the frog as well. I don't understand the frog. Maybe you could link the frog into what we were talking about with a lot of the egg stuff before. Or again, Princess and the Frog maybe. Like one is special, one is not special. Something there. The other one would just be Nanami's general connection with animals and this kind of breaking the awkward tension between the two. As we come back and Torga says that he was just kidding, You definitely held on it for just long enough to get her all hot and bothered, though. That, along with the sound effect of the kind of kettle boiling as well, all sorts of fun stuff going on there. As Torge is having his shower, we have Nanami reminiscing. I guess these photos here were kind of evidence in plain sight as well, as we see none of these photos have Torge at a particularly young age. The way I read this scene very early was something changing, like there's tension on the window, blows open, photos go everywhere. What once was has now changed based on me growing up. Again, I used to dote over my big brother, but with no real kind of lustful sexual element to it, but I'm growing up. Stuff changes, and I may be feeling that kind of way about him. Again, leading up to the climax of the episode, of course. Pardon the pun. Are brothers and sisters doomed to drift apart like this? Yeah, kinda. Like, again, I don't have a little sister, so I didn't have any frame of reference for this, a little sister doting over a big brother. Like, I think that's way more of a Japanese thing as well. But yeah, I mean, sibling relationships change over time as you grow up. You drift further apart, you're not as inseparable. That doesn't mean there can't be a connection there, of course. And I definitely know some people my age that have really close relationships with their siblings, but doesn't happen for everybody. Things change as you grow up. Fairy tales, illusions like that, may be shattered. But we're definitely playing up the sexual angle of this, right? I really like this shot of Nanami. Like, Torga's fucking playing shit up there for a minute as well. I wanted to mention that. But this shot right here. So, this shot here, and not seeing her face, reminds me of this shot back here, wherever it was. That shot, right? Where we don't get to see her face. She's staring at something that is enticing to her in the moment, and we don't get to see her reaction. We just get a little bit of a blush, right? Like, essentially, she just wanted to see some cock. Like, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess. Unless it's your brother. I don't know, it's weird. But again, another one of the episode's large pauses here as we continue to focus on it. Then Nanami proceeds to steal Torga's phone, which is an important detail as well that I missed, and Torga is aware of it. Or at least aware of somebody was around here at some point. So I don't know if he's aware of the phone being stolen or that she was watching. It's one of the two. Here's the zombie apocalypse girls chasing Torga down, but again, faceless masses versus me, right? I'm unique. I'm unique right now. What if that uniqueness was stripped away? Again, that's what this episode is all about. And kind of what Utena's stuff was going into as well, about her uniqueness being stripped away by, you know, growing up and conforming and doing this thing that everybody else is doing, put it that way. Again, further exacerbated by these telephone calls, right? Essentially, from here we have Nanami screening Torga's phone calls. She sees how many people want him, lust after him, all these other things, right? Similar feelings to the feelings that I were feeling before, right? It can't help but feel like sometimes this is just my internal dialogue speaking back at me. Again, everybody else is so similar to me. What's my differentiating factor? And when that illusion is shattered, she spirals, like she has done in the past. I think it's a pretty clever episode in that regard, I really do. Like, if I've got the hots for my brother, right, and he's not my brother anymore, then I've just got the hots for the hottest guy in school, like everybody else. I don't deserve to wear this anymore. It shatters her worldview. Oh my god. Again, the repetition in the episode, such as the multiple phone calls here, further emphasizes this, right? Again, repetition, none of it's special, right? It happens multiple times across many different scenes. I don't want to be mean at all, right? But coming off some of these other episodes, this one's definitely a step down production-wise, which is fine. Again, you're making a TV anime here at the moment. Not all of them can be bangers from that perspective, but just a noticeable downgrade. I think building up to whatever happens next, probably. Right at the wrong moment, we have Nanami's little entourage enter screen as well and say that B-type couples have really low compatibility as well, right? Again, this test based on blood type, right? Which, again, I'm already holding my blood in high regard because of my relation to Torga. Hearing that blood type compatibilities are low is bad news. It makes me feel even worse about the situation. Also inadvertently asking a really important question here, which is, hey, what's Torga's blood type? She refuses to elaborate, right? Maybe not wanting to admit the answer right now as well, causing the girls to run away scared, as they want to do. In the wake of that, Nanami mentions that her brother is hers alone. She won't let anybody take him, and we see, I guess, the goal of Torga's dreams here in Utena, right? As evidenced by the car ride last episode, inviting her out to dinner, blah, 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 blah. Obviously going to get on Nanami's nerves here. It's not the first time we've seen this dynamic. Even mentioning the Latin blood that he potentially has based on some other pun that I didn't really get, bringing up blood. It's basically designed to get Nanami pissed off. I do like that we never see, like, the Nerd Brigade's faces here. It's just these kind of Greek or Roman statues that they're carrying, but have their glasses on them as well, so we know who we're talking about. They're a fixture of Nanami episodes, and I like to see them here. So, we notice that my good friend Himamiya Anshi here is eating a banana. And what does Nanami slip on later in the scene? Let's have a look. Well, first she picks up all the fucking statues and are going to peg them at Utena. I guess we do see their faces as well. Banana peel goes down, slips, breaks her fucking ankle, and Akio flies in and saves the day, right? So what can we infer from this? It was important to Akio at this point in time to want to save or get involved with Nanami in a more concrete way, put it that way, right? And Anchi was a willing participant and a willing pawn in this part of the plan, showing that she is pretty perfectly in Akio's little camp still, under his control. The main sell of this episode to me from the preview was Nanami living with Utena and Anshi, which we do get by the very end of the episode, but we don't get a lot of it very early, but this is the impetus for that even occurring, right? We're explaining some context here in which Torga says that I'm engaged to the chairman's daughter, and we see this little face from Utena as she hears that again feeling guilty about what happened in the car last episode. There's also this small moment when we ask Utena to put the first aid kit on the shelf over there, and they hold each other's hands for a little longer than normal, right? And get all blushy and start looking at each other. And again, this episode, repetition, long pauses, that kind of thing. Another example of it here. Nanami even notices that they're holding hands for a little bit longer than usual, to which she clears her throat and gets Utena to focus up and actually do what she was asked. But again, this is good news for our boy here because he knows that he's in. Again, for whatever nefarious means he has going on with the end of the world, this is a great step. It feels bad, but it's a great step for him. This feels like it's on the nose as well. These are obviously rose colors, right? And we're feeding Akio shaved ice based on these different colors of these different people in the student council, right? Like Saionji, Miki, Torga, Nanami. We just need some orange here, or some pink, and we'd be in business. Again, this seems like a pretty on-the-nose technique by Anchi and Akio to flaunt their sibling status in front of Nanami right now. Like, this is all the stuff that I wish that I was doing with my brother. It makes her feel jealous and enraged. It feels like it's purposeful, put it that way. Again, I still don't know to what end, but I will learn in time, I'm guessing. So Nanami's pissed off, but then she glances her head over at Utena, and she, in turn, is still staring at this scene. For some reason, she really likes the idea of putting different things in Akio's mouth. You know, it makes her feel very interested, put it that way. Nanami and Utena then kind of walk home, and we say the line, "It makes you jealous, doesn't it?" Seeing stuff like that. Yeah, and they're all showy about it too. I'm talking about the chairman. Somebody smarter than me could talk to these kind of statues and their references as well. Two little Greek boys holding something. I've got nothing for you. But again, these statues are probably references to fables and myths from other cultures and that kind of thing that, again, not privy to, but you could apply to this situation. Either way, these two are on the same page, even if a little bit more of a confused way. They both like Akio. They think he's pretty cool, pretty hot. He's pretty special, all those different things. Nanami wants him as a brother, right? Where Utena just probably wants a little bit more of a princely relationship with the bloke. It speaks to where your head's at and your kind of pedestaling of the brother-sister relationship above everything else. Most girls would be lovesick if they had a cool big brother like that, even Himamiya Anshi, right? Now we zoom in on the mouth here. It seems like this is the important part of this sentence. It's another clue for Utena to say that, hey, maybe Anshi's in Akio's pocket a little bit more than I would know at this point. And this line may reveal more relevance as we continue with the show. Yeah, I don't know, again, smarter people than me can talk to who these Greek guys are with, like, the lute. The lute, you know, famous D&D type instrument. Now, this is a very interesting line from Nanami as well. So Nanami clues into Utena's affection for Akio, right? And kind of says, it kind of teases her on the topic where Utena's kind of bashful about it. But then at the very end, she says, let's both try our best. So I thought this was implying that you were going to try after Akio as well, but I don't think that's what's going on. I think you're saying let's try our best in the way of let's tear this guy away from whoever they're with at the moment. Torga is with everybody. I want to tear Torga away from those people and be his special person, right? In that same way, Akio is with Anshi right now, or Kanai, or Kanai's mom, or any other mix of people that we've seen him sleep with. This is almost in an act of solidarity, Nanami cheering Utena to, I guess, steal Akio away from everybody else, right? It's kind of prepping herself up as well as Utena. It's kind of a weird companionship thing. That's what I'm reading it as. It's kind of nice. Yeah, horse, donkey, dog, cat, rooster. I don't know, man. These people are going too crazy. Either way, we come back to school the next day, and we start talking about blood types again, and we're going to ask after Master Torga's blood type. Apparently, it's an innocent little compatibility test, and they're desperate to get his blood type to see how they will compare with him, of course. So we ask after Nanami's blood type, which is type B. Father is type B, mother is type B, family is type B. B must stand for beautiful in our case. However, Torga is A, right? And we got up our little chart before. It's impossible for this to happen. It should be a pretty big clue to you that something is amiss. And yeah, our kind of trio here tries to alert Nanami that this is weird, but she snaps at them. But then you can kind of catch thinking about it and going like, oh shit, they have a point. Like right here. I like this piece of animation right there. It looks kind of goofy, but I really like it. Just kind of taking down the mask and being like, oh shit, you guys are right. I never considered this. Which causes her to sprint at fucking light speed back to the house to check some shit, right? And yeah, these are the photos from before. Looking at them, looking for any photos of Torga when he was very young. None of Torga's baby photos at any point anywhere. Weird. And the storm clouds start rolling in. It turns out that my Onisama, and me were not related, right? I'm no longer his little sister. I'm no longer special. The lightning strikes. It's horror movie-esque. It's, very funny in the editing, right? Again, in a lot of different scenarios, in different shows that I've seen, not being siblings is actually great news and actually leads to more sex. But in this case, again, it's different than that. We're not just talking about hooking up. It's deeper. It's being a special one to somebody else. Now we recontextualize these phone conversations. I'm now back with the pack. I am now these doting women asking after him. I thought I was superior. I am not. Photos are strewn on the ground. It's raining outside. She's pretty depressed. We said explicitly here, the sticking point is that we're not connected by blood, something that we focused on very much in the episode up to this point. However, this thought session from Nanami is interrupted by our boy Torga jumping in and seeing what's going on. It also results in this glorious pose here from Nanami, which may or may not be the thumbnail. Torga comes through. He's asking after his cell phone. Nanami wants to hide it as, if she keeps his cell phone, she prevents him from going away with these other women that are doting after him and maintains some semblance of being special to him, right? So in the scene here, it represents an element of shame at this new discovery, right? She hides it. She doesn't want this to be known. She doesn't want to admit this. She tucks it under the pillow not to be seen. We also have one of our long pause scenes here where we have Nanami looks flushed and Torga wants to check if it's a fever. However, this results in forehead on forehead contact, which is a bit steamy here for Nanami, of course. So again, she's back with the pack here. I just have the hots for him. I'm just like everybody else. I'm not special. And yeah, the frog croaking there again, as he says, just kidding, right? It's the thing that breaks through that silence, that pause. In the wake of this and these new feelings that Nanami has, it seems that she's run away, right? Nanami asked to stay at, I think this is Juri speaking, her place. She came to my place the night before, that being Mickey. She's just kind of couch surfing through the student council at the moment, right? And Utena seems really off guard and really she doesn't really understand what's going on, right? But, they're right. She would never really want to be away from Torga, so something must have happened, and they're curious about it. Again, it's Nanami's main character trait is that she's into her brother, so, Well, let's try and investigate this. Why is Utena so out of it this scene? I don't really understand that. Then we have this really funny scene with Suwabuki, where it's like, hey, Suwabuki, do you want me, Nanami, the object of your affections, to sleep in your room tonight? Sounds pretty good. However, there is a 47,000-year-old man out here playing golf, the most middle-aged of sports, which is going to steal this 13, 14-year-old girl away from Suwabuki right in the hole. Like, he thinks that he's just hit the putt right now. He thinks he's in for something awesome, right? He thinks that he just hit the fucking putt of his life. Big old 30-footer, but, you know, daddy's over here, nice putt. You should stay with me instead because of arbitrary Otori Academy rules that I just made up. We've done this shot a number of times, panning from the window over to the stars here, and then we reverse it, right, as we go the other way, right? Again, doing this almost arc shape around the room with the camera that I think is pretty cool. And just to add to the, I guess, comedy of it, we have Utena upside down on the other end, which is just a nice little detail. I don't think I need to look deep into that one. At first, Akio doesn't push for details, but they will come out here in a minute when Torga visits the house. And we see Akio here doing a similar, I don't know what I would say, joke to a lot of other characters here in this episode, right? Where they'll say something inflammatory, sometimes even with a nugget of truth into it, like a real non sequitur, a real conversation stopper, and then follow it by saying, just kidding. Makes it for a really fun watch. I like it as a technique. What is Purple Rose? I don't understand Purple Rose. Okay, now Purple Rose is like Anshi. So when you hear that, you're like, oh shit, I have similar feelings to Anshi when you're asking after a harem, right? You know, I may be your new little sister. And then, of course, the Purple Rose will take on new meanings as you see what happens here at the very end. We also, again, have that frog croak breaking things up. If you need anything, just ask, consider yourself family. We know what that means when it comes to Akio. If you're a family member of Akio, the percentage chance of you sleeping with him actually increases, which is crazy. In a similar way here that Akio was just doing, we have Anshi doing the same technique where she says that Akio doesn't discriminate when it comes to girls, something with a nugget of truth into it, and then says, just kidding. Of course Akio isn't like that. He has kanai. Of course he doesn't sleep around. Look at this cope, and he's your big brother too. I shouldn't say things like that. Did you sound crazy just now? Concerned eyes Anshi. Yes, you did sound crazy. Very, very, very interesting. I don't know what to make of that. What a weird scene. And then straight into Shadow Girls. This is a new setting for the Shadow Girls. Again, increasingly diegetic. Characters interacting with it, taking place in fucking Akio's house now. Just kind of moving along with the characters, much like the hospital one from a couple of episodes ago, a couple of weeks ago. Here, in this one, we have a robot that is searching for monkeys. Looking for the monkeys. Where'd my monkeys go? And then I think this is meant to be the monkey, and the monkey is laying her egg in another nest. So, egg, Nanami, where it'll be hatched and raised for me. The technical term for this is parasitism, which is a really, really kind of cynical way of looking at it. Are we saying that Torga's like a parasite? And then the cuckoo bird is born and, I don't know, it's a monkey or something, and the true identity will never be found. I guess it begs the question, right? Like, hey, there's a weird duck over here that looks like a monkey. Out of place, an ugly duckling type motif. How am I supposed to be a beautiful swan under these conditions? But Nanami has to realize that Torga's the ugly duckling in all of this. He's the adopted one. We don't know where the hell he came from. Are the people that want to catch Torga the robots in this little metaphor? Are they still looking for him? Are they? Where'd Torga come from? Yeah, and Utena doubts that this person here will ever be a beautiful swan based on what they did, which is just kind of put their egg in another nest and try to be something else when somebody else is looking after them already. You could take this a million different ways. I don't know which is which character in this little thing, but it's about ugly duckling and adoption and feeling like you belong and feeling like you're a parasite and all these other kind of feelings. Right? I don't have a concrete look here, is my point. This is very interesting too. Now, knowing what happens at the end of the episode, we do rock, paper, scissors, in which I'm guessing Anshi loses on purpose to not share a bed with Utena and instead be out on her own, potentially sharing a bed with somebody else. I just think that's kind of neat. You're like, oh no, I lost. How terrible. When in reality, you lost on purpose. Either way, Nanami-kun, we have a visitor. Torg is here, asking basically what you're doing. Why'd you do what you did? Why you running away? Akio and Torga also have a connection, which is probably why he's here. Akio probably told him. However, this shatters Nanami's brain. This is like the person that she doesn't want to see at the moment tells him to go home. And again, this is less of... It's a pretty complex emotion. It's, I don't want to face everything I'm feeling right now, and that's why I'm running away. It's not particularly a dislike of you. It's a dislike of my revelations around you, whether they be around your blood type or around this increased arousal that I've had around you. I'm running away from these feelings, right? Again, in turn, those feelings fueling into her own lack of specialness perceived because of all this, right? That's the kind of arc for Nanami this episode. We almost do, it's very, like, Bold and the Beautiful, Days of Our Lives soap opera cuts here as we pan to every single character upon learning the news that, hey, Nanami and Torga are no longer related. Or they never were, I guess. Again, in turn, also running away from confirming this revelation, right? Confirming with Torga that he actually isn't my brother. I kept hoping it was a joke. Suddenly, I don't have a brother. What am I supposed to do? Onisama yo. So, yo? I don't know why I said it like that. But you know what I mean? Like, Big Brother is different to... Okay, so in any other circumstance that is not romantic, it's fine. And the moral would be, hey... this bond that we have, right, as brother and sister, it's thicker than just blood, right? Where, you know, we grow up together. We have we share this bond. It's not just based purely on us having the same parents. That's where the moral would go in a normal show. But no, because we're no longer siblings, this is terrible, and I no longer feel romantic feelings towards you, or feel the specialness of your romantic feelings towards me. And then we get this flashback, and I wanted to pause on it, right? Because now the lost kitten has a lot more context, right? So the lost kitten is also a metaphor for adoption, right? We found this little kitten, and we brought him in. It's probably much to the point of why Torgi is connecting with the kitten so much in those little flashbacks, right? Again, I can't ignore all these feelings I've had unto now, but now I no longer feel as special. Even again, that's a nice little Utena fable reference as well, as if VLC wants to behave. We go for the little eye kiss, which I don't know why is not on screen. There you go. Eye kiss. Hello, eye kiss. And again, you wanted to be the only one that had this connection, which is why you felt so strongly about the cat as well. You felt as though Torga had some other outlet for this other emotion, and you wanted to monopolize that, and thus the cat needed to go, and blah, 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 relationship with animals. We've been through all of it in the egg episode. However, there's a big emotional reaction here. You keep telling him to go away. I love you, but I want you to go away right now because I no longer feel that connection. And this causes Utena to think, I guess she's seeing the shattering of somebody's fairy tale, the shattering of somebody's little dream that they told themselves, right? And thinking that, hey, maybe something similar can happen to me. I don't know. Why else would we focus on Utena here? Like, she really feels for Nanami here and then tries to, open up with her. Of course, Nanami is closing herself off, doesn't want any bit of it, and gets up and goes somewhere else. Like, I told you to leave me alone, blah, 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 blah. Basically told her to cheer up and everything's going to be okay. Not what she wants to hear right now, and goes and walks away. So she kind of goes off to the bathroom, but she wants to go and talk with Akio instead. I think that's what's going on here. However, the lights are down in the planetarium, and then we see this, and we're pretty sure we know what's happening, right? I clued into it pretty quickly. Again, there's a long pause and a long, I guess, piece of quiet in the sound there leading up to this. It builds anticipation that something may be happening over here, put it that way. So here's my question. We see the clothes there. We see a naked Anshi, right? And then we pan right to her in the elevator. But Nanami spoke there. So did they hear that? Are they aware that she now knows that they sleep together? Now, the elevator here instantly made me think Mikage, but that's not where we went. I'm thinking a contrast between red and blue again, which we've seen a couple of times already. Kind of the red here. That's a fantastic shot, by the way. Love the camera. And Nanami is in shock, and I've kind of talked about the reasons here already. It's a mix of embarrassment, jealousy, envy, being grossed out kind of as well. Like, there's a lot going on there. Again, you forget how young Nanami is. It's kind of like walking in on your parents having sex. Not that that's ever happened to me, thankfully, but like, it shatters everything. You're like, what the fuck is even going on here? She's like, again, I don't think the sex education was already a sore spot for you based on the previous episode. Like, there's a lot of. I want to, again, emphasize the complexity, the emotions here, as her head kind of flashes these different scenes of what was happening between these two. The other important shot here that I wanted to highlight as well is the shoe coming off here, which has been, again, a metaphor for two characters having sex. Just another nice reinforcement of that there with that little shot. So I successfully yapped for a very long time, again, about this episode, when I didn't really mean to. Hello, Penis Tower. So no matter what, I can't hold back the yap. I do not know what this last little bit here is. Again, the contrast between the blue and the red I talked about, but like, what was she doing? Why'd she make that pose? Is it meant to mean something else? I don't really get it. But we're going to bring up episode 32 now and do that one, which seems to continue this Nanami thing. So we should jump relatively right back to where we were, I think, if that made any sense. Anyway, I'm going to bring up that episode. But this episode was pretty good. I think it has some nice little things going on. I will say this arc, all the episodes have felt very unique, right? Where all the Mikage episodes kind of blended together a little bit. They were about similar things and did very similar things and blah, 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 blah. We're doing, it almost feels like a different director, different show every episode this arc. And it's been, again, one of the reasons why the yap has perpetuated when it continues. But yeah, next episode, I'm getting it up now. Radio, same old everything as usual. Episode's up there. 23 minutes and 28 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. Using the PGS subs, and there should be a picture in the description below if you wanted to use that as well. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, really interesting episode. I think in the analysis just then, I felt like I repeated myself a lot. So maybe I'll cut that down a little bit. I just kept saying, like, this kind of strips Nanami of her specialness, which reflects Utena. Yeah, pretty much. Again, on a more, I guess, concrete way, I'm interested to see if if Nanami learning this is something that unravels everything else that's been going on, right? Like, Utena somehow getting wind of Anchi and Akio sleeping together would then throw a big wrench into whatever she's feeling at the moment, that being guilt at the little smooch they had before. Like, well, that's also my wife, or my bride, that's smooching with him now. So I'm getting cucked, but at the same time I'm cucking her. So, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Again, the two sides of Utena, kind of the prince side and the princess side, that split as well being challenged, may lead to these two being in conflict. I don't know. Maybe there's some language in the opening that indicates that. I need to get comfortable too. Always be sitting in this chair. So true. Okay. What a view, by the way. Oh, the phone's still here. Are they calling him and then, like, touching themselves? Ah! Talk in an apron. Something strange is going on outside, too. And now you can't see him in the same light, right? Because you just think about what happened last night, right? Yeah. Why does this... Yeah, why are you, like, angry? The romance of the dancing girls. Dancing with the dancing shoes was something in one of the Shadow Girl segments. What are they making? Is it white person taco night? No. Here's an egg. There's a lot going on there. Maybe you should tell me what's going on. See, Utena's not all there in the brain department sometimes. You do need to spell things out for her pretty explicitly. Hello, Choo Choo. Conbase? Hey, yo. Somebody call Midori. Yeah, he's building his harem, didn't you know? Want to trade? I'll go sleep in the same room as Kozue. uh. Oh, just kidding. Oh, that's funny. She's spitting facts, though. Hello, Torga. Yeah, I remember. I was there. Not an hour ago. This same shot again. Well, somebody's smooching. Excuse me. Oh, I know this voice. Whoa. So you just say that shit to anybody. Wait, is this even real? Is this all in our head? What? What? Yo! Yo, this guy sucks! Yeah, the voice is definitely who I think it is, right? Yeah. I thought it was. Yo! Okay, so this is continuing on from that other episode, right? Oh, shit! Don't care. We got your ass now. Oh, this music. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh shit. Now, see, I remember the other episode, so Kaiko's kind of based here. You're a freak. Oh shit, yeah, right. Oh, and the color. Love it. Maybe you should get rid of that phone. It's probably bad for your mental health. Yeah. That's what we've been trying to get across. It's true. And this is worldview shattering. And again, what if something similar had happened to Utena? Oh, the fucking phone had a rose seal in it. Well, you broke the tap. That bodes poorly. Okay. You look like you're there with somebody again. Can't I? She looks fucking dead. What? Hello. I'm very confused. He sure does. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, he makes shaved ice. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't go in there right now. He's doing weird apple shit. Can we? Let's talk to our friend here who seems like very distraught. Oh, you said the word. Yeah. Domo domo. As I'm holding bladed weapon. Well, this has been an episode thus far. Oh shit, the Keiko stuff's crazy. Okay. Choo Choo's been fucking acting strange. Yeah. Well, I agree about the dance part. You really are fucking dense. Oh, Nanami wants to slap a bitch. Yeah. uh, why? Utena's so funny. She says the exact wrong thing all the time. Mm. It's almost like these characters keep lying to everybody to get what they want. Why would they do that? Imagine answering the phone and hearing Choo Choo. What? What? What the fuck? What was that first voice then? Hello, Nanami. Yeah, I've been there a few times now. Oh, you're going on a car ride. Wait, requested a transfer? What? I do think there is something about the self-fulfilling prophecy of hearing the engine, right? Like it's like, yeah, I'm not deaf. I can hear the car engine. It's time for you to get in this scary car with these two older gentlemen. What does the car imply? Say it with me now, chat room. They're having sex. What? How do you not recognize him? Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're right. He was doing a lewd act with his sister? Perish the thought. Yeah, in front of my brother. I'm recording. Yeah. Okay. That sounds like cult leader talk. Ah! Interesting. Deeper than sex was what I wanted with Torga. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that we're gonna duel now, which is weird. I wouldn't fight her now. She's been on a car ride. Brown nosing. True. What? They not like us? We're gonna kill Choo Choo? Oh my god. They got Choo Choo. Oh, sick. Someone a magic trick? I've got absolutely nothing for you on that one. Nothing at all. These Shadow Girl shitters are just fucking. I haven't got one in like 4 or 5 episodes now. That's what it feels like anyway. Alright, let's go do a duel. Now, again, I thought we were ending an arc, like now. Is Utena gonna fucking lose? She could. That'd be interesting. That'd be a direction. How long do we have left? Not that long. Okay. When all is said and done, there won't be that long left. I do think it's funny that like Nanami just came back and beat the shit out of everyone. Now Anshi's back. Her naked back. Where have we seen that recently? It's another interesting one too. Also, again, the differentiating factor, of course, being that the car has been representing sex. Torga making a move on Nanami, right? And then she explicitly being like, that's not what I want. Something in that too. For sure, for sure. Holy Hello, Mr. Carr. It's going to be like a Nanami Torga team up. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Again, neither's in the dress of the Rose Bride, which is interesting. You do that all the time. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, now this doesn't feel like where Utena loses. What an odd thing. It's become way more about the uniqueness aspect, right? Like, I become just like everyone else, just like a normal person, if I just dote over Torgin this one way. So now I want to surpass him. I want to do something that he couldn't do. It's interesting. It's Utena-esque. It's almost like, again, wanting to be a prince instead of longing for the prince. Oh, she also looks fucking sick. The animation has been so good on this. Yeah, it's interesting that she's fighting and that Torga's taking the role of the bride in all of this. Oh wait, no, he's not even in the car. Who's driving the car? Circumcised platosphere? What are you doing there? The apple? No, you're missing the point. Yeah. Oh, shit. Interesting. I know where those feelings lead. I'd be just like the cat. Interesting. Hello, Mr. Prince. Of course. Car crashes out. That certainly looks like yellow flower petals. Seems like she lost. Utena just be fucking winning now. It's pretty hopeless, actually. Oh shit. What a line. Just give her a hug. Like one of you. She just needs a friend right now. What's the truth? What? Oh, you're both adopted? What? What? Wait, no. So they're both siblings from the same family that got taken in by this rich family. Okay, what? Sure. But again, I guess it goes to show that. Remember all that stuff in the last episode about the banana and the planting and all that kind of stuff? It shows that revealing this information to Nanami, almost in a very Mikage way, poking into this sore spot was what they were trying to do to get her to go on the car trip, to revolutionize her, to fucking have another go at Utena, basically. It was a big plan there. It was a big ploy. I guess, yeah, it goes to show that all these feelings that Nanami has been feeling over these 2 episodes, how bad she's been feeling, we've spent so much of it in her perspective, was only because these 2 guys were fucking around. Which, does that feel good? I don't think that feels good at all. These 2 episodes did not go where I thought they would at all. Unless I've got the timing wrong and 33 isn't the recap, I'm unsure. Alright, give me a little preview, of course. I'm actually excited about this preview. I want to see where we go next. Yeah. Not getting a lot of information thus far. Still not getting a lot of information. A game of Othello. Okay. I got nothing. I don't know what's coming. All right, cool. A little bit of analysis on that one, and we'll pop on out of here. Yeah, not where I expected these to go, for sure. So yeah, that was episodes 31 and 32. And what do I think? I guess I went into this episode with weird expectations. I thought we would end this shit fucking sobbing, the world would be half broken in half, people would be dying, there would be riots in the streets, Torgo would be like, not Torgo, Akio would be like a fucking Godzilla roaming through the streets, just fucking breathing fire and destroying everybody's lives. But that has not happened yet. It may never happen. And I guess I judged these two episodes with a bit of a weird expectation because of that. Also, the other thing I wish I didn't go through and analyze last episode in as much detail. I wish I kind of just watched both through and then did the whole thing at once, right? Because I came to the realizations and the revelations that the characters come to in this episode around here a little bit earlier than I should have, right? Where it's like, oh shit, they spell out pretty explicitly what the last episode was trying to do. Which again, Nanami's always had a chip on her shoulder about how special she is, about how important she is, and all these other things based on her family, based on her connection to the most popular, most important person in the school, the student council president. Taking that away and seeing how Nanami deals with that is an interesting thing to do. I like that. But the problem is, I said that too early. They literally they say that verbatim, like here in this section, like very explicitly. As a result, I think the episode starts to become interesting for me, like here-ish. When we start to get in the car and the reasons why Nanami gets in the car, that's where I really start to hit my stride with this episode, and it becomes a little bit more interesting. Again, not that any of this is bad, it's still fucking excellent, it's still Utena. And I think the emotions at play here are still very, very complex. And again, the revelation at the end of all of it, which again makes this scene over here make a whole lot more sense, is that, hey, we essentially like planned this. Like, we wanted to make her feel this way through reveal of information. Like, she is a pawn in our schemes. That doesn't feel very good at all. So yeah, watching the episode again with this perspective will reveal some things. If you're in on it, it means that Anshi's in on it. We can see how Anshi is trying to push Nanami towards this conclusion as well through the breakfast scene very early in the episode as well. With this additional context, I think it does make the episode more justifiable, I guess I would say. That, as well as we have a song to read, so we can't neglect that as well. Let's, dive into this sucker and go back through. We open the episode on a large shot from Akio's penthouse suite, where we have these two crescent moon beds, which now I'm noticing is an interesting thing to put there as well. Nanami is focusing again on this phone. Again, the metaphor of the phone, I explained it already. I don't need to do it again. But again, with the additional context of what she saw Anshi and Akio doing that night, again, adds to these complex emotions that are forming up inside of her, where we have the dense one, Utena, who is not going through such complex emotions right now. Maybe this one's a bit of a stretch, but I think both Anshi and Akio are in aprons, because they're on the same page here. They're cooking up something for these two. They're two pawns in their game right now, and in their own way, very similar to each other. There's also a contrast building within Nanami's mind right now. Whenever she hears Akio, she thinks back to what he was doing on the couch with Anshi, right? Heavy contrast with him as a homemaker right now with their whole apron and tea setup. It's just different vibes. She can't look at people the same way again. Evidenced again here, building contrast. Anshi in the apron, that's what she looked like last night. How can people do these two different things? It's crazy. Again, would blow my mind if I was 13. Which I was at some point, I guess. So the emotion we go with here for Nanami is interesting as well. It's not quite like embarrassment or getting flustered or anything like that. She's more than anything just angry, mainly out of jealousy, out of envy. I want with Torgo what you have with your brother, at least on some level. But again, it's less the sex and more the connection, I think. But again, that isn't something you should want. If anything, we've been shown many, many times in this narrative that Anshi is not in a good position right now and wants to break out of it, at least on some level. And also, I guess, frustration at Utena as well about not seeing this right in front of her. thinking that she's a little bit dense. It's an, again, interesting set of emotions for the character. Again, title, Romance of the Dancing Girls, I alluded to in the reaction about the Shadow Girl segment about dancing, right? What do you need to dance? You need your shoes, right? You need your shoes on to dance. But we take those shoes off whenever we bone. So like something in that, probably the word romance as opposed to whatever else is going on. I want a romance. I want a fairy tale true love as opposed to a sexual relationship with somebody else, which again is what I'm reading is the major conflict in the car here during that portion of the episode. At the very least, we can agree that what Akio and Torga are doing is emotionally manipulative and should probably be judged accordingly. Like, it's not good what they're doing. So apparently this is Rose Jam from Rose Hips that Anchi raised. Sure. Something, that's a tea, right? And that's the tea that she's drinking, which has been brewed from Anchi's roses. Oh, I also saw something here. Remember when we were scrambling the eggs? I saw a little bit of that imagery as well, because an egg will pop up here as well. Yeah, right there. You know, let's pour some salt on the egg being Nanami. Something in that too, probably, right? Like every little piece of the scene, the no eyes here, it's like she feels like Nanami feels like she's being tormented unknowingly, but it's actually knowingly, which is crazy, right? It's much like once you hear about something, you start seeing it everywhere, and bit of confirmation bias there. But again, it's not just confirmation bias. These two actually have your worst interests in mind. In almost a very similar way to Suabuki, I'm noticing. It's a lot of Nanami just wanting to destroy everything now. She gets very violent. She starts just saying, like, I want to burn it all down because of what's happened. I'm thinking here as well, this T represents Anchi. I want to just fucking beat it up a little bit, right? Again, as I said before, you can read into this interaction as purposeful, like, I know that you saw us last night type beat, right? And Akio must know that she saw them as well, because that probably plays into the plan, right? So yeah, I don't want to eat any of their jam, and then it's like, hey, you gotta apologize to them. And it's like, Utena, you're being fucking dense as hell right now. You know, so if they're... Okay, so Nanami almost sees through this already. She's like, this shit's fucked. How don't you see what these two are doing? And Utena's just like very on the nose prince like, you did bad thing, you should apologize. A very base level of morality in the scene, where you see one level deeper, where these people over here, Akio and Anchi, are operating another couple of levels deeper than that, even again. She must be terribly tormented, trouble with her brother. Again, you two know what you're doing, of course. Of course, conveniently, we're hiding Choo-Choo at this moment as well. As we've explained, a lot of Anchi's moral compass is Choo-Choo. We've specifically hid that as she's continually being puppeteered by Akio in these scenes. Apparently the jam in particular was very tasty too, so read into that however you like. There's a quick scene here with Miki and Nanami, where we're explaining like, oh yeah, I'm living with the chairman, but it's kind of a hassle. And then Mickey's like, oh yeah, that sounds nice. I wouldn't mind living there. To which Nanami brings up the idea of a trade, of course, because she wants to get away from whatever the hell they have going on because of her own personal circumstances. And then, hey, Mickey, you get to be with your beloved princess. Of course, there being the kind of sexual bend to whatever else is going on as well, leading to the line of internal dialogue here from Nanami, right? A nice guy like you would be eaten alive by that bunch. You haven't matured enough yet. You're not there yet. You're not with these other guys. I can already see how they're manipulating Utena. You would be eaten alive by them. You're not even operating on the same level, right? Like, Nanami is in the position of power in this dynamic in this room right now because she's the one that rug pulls by saying, no, I'm just kidding. We're not actually swapping. Again, we even say it in the dialogue there. We call Mickey a nice guy, which is, again, what the commenters have been saying, which I think, yeah, again, has different connotations these days, but just a bit funny. I like that. And yeah, in a very on-the-nose way, holding the phone, where do I belong now, leading swiftly into the next scene. A lot of the transitions in this episode are buoyed by a elevator dinging, which, again, is a lot of chairman stuff, chairman elevator dinging to get up to the top of the penthouse, dinging to get off. It also links into the Mikage stuff, elevators and that kind of thing, delving higher, delving lower. Now we have to watch this portion with the context of what Torga is trying to do here, which is manipulate Nanami to get in the car. Essentially something to that effect, right? Apparently there's a piece of dialogue there where Torga at one point says, "You're the only sister I've got, we should live to help each other, shouldn't we?" Which now stinks of manipulation, right? Male manipulator vibes off the big guy. I think this here is the standout scene of the episode, right? This reflects the previous episode, which was, hey, Torga was meeting with some random lady in the sunlit garden here, having a smooch whilst he was on the phone. I've taken the photo away, but he's still having a smooch. But it's who he's having a smooch with, right? And follow me on this one. Kaiko, right? Remember that episode where she's like, I'm like in love with Torga and I'm only doting over and brown nosing to Nanami as a way to get to Torga? And it kind of reflected the Wakaba stuff in that way. Like, hey, you have this status, Nanami, because you're so close to Torga that I can never dream to be in your position. And again, a huge part of Nanami's characterization and her sense of self is being above these lackeys that are next to her, right? So, if you're trying to manipulate Nanami into doing some weird shit, what's the most straightforward way to do that? Let's just like smooch one of these little underlings that she has. That'll get under her skin. So I like it from every perspective. It works perfectly as a shattering of Nanami's specialness based on her relationship to Torga. It works for Kaiko as a little bit of revenge for everything that she's gone through and all the motivations that we learnt about her in her little Mikage elevator episode back during the Black Rose arc. And it works for Torga, who on some level is attempting to manipulate Nanami into doing certain things based on whatever the end of the world / Archeo wants out of the situation. It just works. It's really, really good television. Now, again, there is a knowing smile there by Torga. He realizes that Nanami is now right there next to her. And this is when he commences the really, really on-the-nose dialogue. Again, you've never been much for super complex thought about how much you're irrelevant and all that other stuff. Again, some of the dialogue here. I have no sister. I don't care about what she would think about this kind of thing. We're not related by blood. All that big brother shit was just an act. And again, you hear it in the voice here. I already picked up that it was Kaiko. My father ordered me to do it, treat her like a real sister, or treat her as well as a real sister, he said. Again, everything here was a lie. This will probably end up being the thumbnail too. It's quite an evocative image of what these two episodes are really about. Alright, I'm going to put my hands up here and fully admit that I didn't take enough time to understand this shot, especially in tandem with... Wait, hang on, I've got to click into it. This shot here somewhere, that one as well. Both of those in tandem are two of the best shots in the show. Holy shit, this shot's amazing. Okay, let's talk about a couple things. And I'm going to kind of use this as a bit of a catch-all for all the things that I've been kind of missing. A little bit more of a summary. This is recorded after the fact if you didn't know. So again, to the major point that I've been saying through all of this, Nanami has a high opinion of herself based on the connection to the brother. As soon as that thing is shattered, again, entirely as a ploy by Archeo / Torga / End of the World, they're behind this. They're making her feel these feelings right now for a purpose, to get her in the car, basically. So they're essentially making her have the worst day of her life. Again, it's been reinforced every single time through the show that this is the most important thing to Nanami. Torga, her big brother. She dotes after him, she does anything for him, seeks his approval, even likes him romantically somewhat. Like, there's a lot of stuff that connects Nanami to Torga, right? And I want to specifically talk about the cowbell episode, right? So in the cowbell episode, we have a dream sequence. The dream sequence goes through this little kind of folk song about kind of a person kind of selling a cow off to the highest bidder, and then they get kind of chopped up into meat and then sold back to somebody, and then they eat the steak, right? Torga's essentially doing that now. He is selling Nanami off, or at least the idea that Nanami has of herself, to the highest bidder, aka the end of the world, for whatever nefarious means they want. Essentially using her as a piece of meat to satiate somebody's hunger. That's terrible. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing that Torga is doing, right? And guess what? In that cowboy episode, we had a white picket fence. And the white picket fence relates Nanami to livestock, to another one of the people in the crowd. I think she says later in this episode something about being another one of the flies, or something to that effect as well, which could also link to livestock, even below livestock in her own mind. Even the way she's lying down right now, kind of resting against something, it almost looks like an animal would lie in the shade against something as well. It, again, relates Nanami to this cowbell form, right? And again, the conceit of the Cowbell episode as well, it's about specialness, it's about uniqueness, it's about elevating herself above everybody else through the use of fashion, right? It's played off for a goof in the moment, but when recontextualized here, it's actually ungodly sad. It is ungodly sad. So, holy fuck, I missed that. And then again, this one may be a little bit more of a stretch. We see a tree here, and the tree is meaning family, and it connects to the apple stuff a little bit later in the episode. The apple has fallen from the tree, so to speak, as well. We can also connect that to the Mickey Causeway tree episode, baby bird, egg. All the metaphors are just fucking falling in on themselves. This is incredible. This is some of the best stuff in the show, and I just absolutely glanced over it. So yeah, basically that. And again, going back through these 2 episodes again, it is very, very obvious to see all the points of manipulation, to the phone, to all the actions that Archie does, up to and including the banana, and the having sex, and the breakfast scene the next day, and of course Nanami's final stand at the very end of the episode as well, and how that kind of ends in disaster. Like, look at how fucking distraught she is. She just fucking hates it. Even these 2 are feeling kind of bad about it. Well, maybe not as much you. But yeah, her decision there to like, hey, this is my final chance to have a go at Utena and beat Utena, who is the most unique, the most special, and become the most special by superseding her. Which again, there was a scene last episode about this kind of companionship I read as between Utena and Nanami, and she casts that all aside, again in this last gasp attempt to retain some of that specialness. And again, so much of it is attached to her family as well. We find out after the fact in this scene that she's adopted as well, so more to the tree. She wasn't even on the tree in the first place, she was just kind of an apple on the ground, and then got kind of brought in to the Kiryu family. This episode's good. This episode's good, and I don't say it's good enough in the rest of the video here, so keep that in mind. But holy fuck, is it good. Of course, the wording here, a common, boring girl like her. What is she wearing? She's wearing something that differentiates herself from the common, boring girl. Oh no, whatever will she do? Now again, as I said last episode, this shatters Nanami's fairy tale. Now, what's going to happen when Utena's fairy tale is shattered as well? Interesting to say, and I think that's what we're setting up here. Here's the realization. Kaiko is there. She's the one that's in the sunlit garden with Torga. At this very same moment, we have... I don't even know what this is. It's like a vase or something, some kind of watering can, which is having trouble with the tap. Like the flow isn't coming out like it should. Now, somebody smarter than me could talk to the metaphor here. I got nothing. I guess it justifies a reason as to why Archie isn't in her garden at the moment, because she can't quite get enough water into the watering can. It also speaks to something irreversible. She twists this tap at one point and it comes all the way off. So it's like, oh shit, I've opened something that can't be closed now. We see Nanami get violent here, slap Kaiko, push her to the ground. Again, she's so used to being above her socially, right? And threatening her with consequences. Think about, again, the Kaiko episode where Kaiko does a wrong, and then we punish her accordingly by giving her the silent treatment by everybody, right? She becomes a pariah. And you had that power over her, and now you're trying to enforce it again, but again, that power was predicated on Torga, so you have no power here, Nanami. Because, yeah, so much of it is this reaction. It's no longer fear. It's smugness. I've actually gotten to you. That kind of vibe, right? I've got something that you don't. Or at the very least, I'm now just on your level. The music here is really, really fantastic. Really tense strings. Again, getting across the tenseness of Nanami's emotions. Again, pretty paper-thin analysis, but it is what it is. We're really hitting the nail on the head here. Kaiko comes back. She's the one that now slaps and punches Nanami, pushes her to the ground so that she's in the same position that Kaiko just was in. How are you any different from me anymore? Again, based on this connection that's now shattered. Why should I need your permission to love anybody? You're disgusting, I feel sick, I can barely breathe around you. And Nanami, you'll understand sooner or later, which is a pretty interesting line there from Torga. Indicating that, hey, all this is a means to an end, and you'll see why we're doing this at some point. And again, she's in a state of denial. She's asking, hey, all this is just pretend, right? You were joking before about what you said about me, and then they're already walked away. You're irrelevant. I don't care. All the color kind of seeps out of the scene in the sunlit garden. Only the roses remain as one of the only bits of color, and we're left in a colorless space. She's feeling pretty bad about things. The phone continues to ring, this constant reminder that she has with her that she is nobody special. Everybody dotes after this guy. And again, there's the line, "I'm just like all the others now." Yeah, that's what we've been trying to get across. We have nothing left to tie us together anymore. At that same time, the tap comes off and this thing starts to overflow. This is a breaking point for Nanami. I think that's what we're trying to get across metaphorically, right? So this scene is fucked. I don't know what's going on here with Kanai and Akio, right? Because now we cut back to the kind of room late at night. Kanai looks fucking comatose. She looks out of it. She looks fucked. Like she's almost lifeless. She's like it's a puppet being used, right? So we're going to get her face up and we're going to feed her an apple, right? And we're going to follow the apple metaphor through this thing, right? Because apples fall from trees, which is a pretty common metaphor for family, as we've established even early in the series with all the Cosway Mickey stuff, the tree being the family there. Then the apples fall and then they get planted and then they grow more apple trees and blah, 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 blah. I don't need to explain this to you, right? So what metaphorically do we mean by Akio taking a comatose and unaware Kanai, feeding her a slice of the apple which has a ton of forks stabbing into it? I think this is meant to indicate that Torga has his kind of forks into all different pieces of the kind of Otori family, right? With the mother and Kanai, and it's all just a play for power, right? Like, it looks like the apple can't move. It looks like it's under his control, right? But it also looks like it's in severe pain because of it. It does not bode well for whatever's going on with Kanai, right? Basically, you're the apple right now that I want to possess, and I am almost torturing you in the possession of it, right? And I'm feeding that apple back to you, because I'm the one that's in control now. Now, again, this is how Akio treats his family, right? The family that's close to him. Does this bode well for Utena? Like, this lady's just been sleeping with him for a little bit. She's the fiance, right? And she's already up to this? Is this a path that Utena wants to go down? Is this potentially another metaphor for what's happening with Anshi right now as well? Because, again, she's been always closely linked with Kanai as well. Both of these two characters that are kind of under Thingo's control, under Akio's control. Again, nothing but bad vibes off of this, for sure. And, you know, Utena, we just saw that. And what's Utena doing in the meantime? She's just fucking handstanding against the wall. Why not? What else would you do? So again, we're implying that Anshi just walked out of this room, so she's aware of whatever the hell's going on in there, whatever fucking dark space star magic is going on. The shot is also upside down, pretty obviously. It's filmed in Australia. Fun production fact there. But more to the point, it's meant to be like topsy-turvy. It's meant to be like, oh, things aren't what they seem because I'm showing you only one perspective right now, Utena. I'm shutting you off from everything else and you're left just a bit confused. There's a separation here in the frame between Anshi and Utena. Apparently they're hungry. They're going to have some shaved ice, which again has like negative calories in it, but that's neither here nor there. The separation, right? Anshi knows what's going on. Utena does not. Utena's also being very dense. Akio sure does love those stars, does he? It's like, yes, he does. So, well, us, the audience, we know what these stars in here represent. You know? Every single time. Nanami, you must be hungry too. Nah, you've got a whole big complex set of emotions that are going through you right now. Which again, separation, right? We didn't even know that Nanami was in the room, and we got a, special shot just for her. Again, nobody's near her. She's coiled up in a ball. She's feeling like fucked up at the moment. Utena then goes to walk into the room, and Anshi is fucking desperate to not let Utena to go into that room, right? It's not your time yet. We're still cooking on you. It would be wrong to disturb them when they're alone. Please let them enjoy their time together. And then, like, Nanami's head goes up. It's like, well, but you're doing that with him, and they're enjoying their time together, and like, Nanami's putting the pieces together a little bit here. Yeah, you really care about your brother. Domo. And then she's just too scary. Oh, I am? Think nothing of it. Bit of a domo again. Think nothing of it. I'm not scary at all, as I hide this bladed weapon behind myself, right? Again, getting pretty sinister vibes of Anshi right now. Somebody needs to snap her out of it. Utena, we need your help, please. Again, does not bode well. She's too scary. You tried to say that under your breath and she ended up hearing it. Also, there's the Dutch angle there. Again, we don't need to go into all that nonsense. Again, in a very purposeful way, we have Choo-Choo in the room here with Utena and Nanami, as Archie is off doing whatever else, probably Akio. And Nanami is dismissive of the relationship that Utena and Archie have, right? You two sleep facing each other all the time? That's weird. It is a little bit weird, but just remember that they're betrothed to each other as well. I guess, here's another thing about the beds, right? They're not sleeping next to each other in a way that a husband and wife would, right? Instead, their bodies are to either side, and they can only see each other's faces. They can only see each other's minds and brains and faces and all that other kind of stuff, right? It's an emotional connection rather than a lustful, right? When these two sleep in these beds, right? We see a completely different side to Archie. Interesting. For sure, for sure. That's definitely what we're trying to get across with the bed and the beds in their structure. Here's where Utena's being the most dense. Like, Nanami's really trying to hint that these two are sleeping together and she just doesn't understand it. Yeah, those two are really close siblings. No, by sleeping together, I mean they're fucking. They're fucking over in that room over there. They are. You won't believe me because you're super dense, but they are. Yeah, Nanami tries to turn around. She's gonna like yell, but then it's like, nah, you're just too stupid to even talk to. And to add to the denseness, she just doesn't even engage with what Nanami's saying. It's just like, I wish I had a sibling. It's like, no. And again, you say the exact wrong thing in front of Nanami right now, which is like, I don't want to think about siblings at all right now. I'm all twisted up about that fact. We always seem to know what the other's feeling, right? That's how siblings work. Again, I'm an only child, so I'd have no frame of reference for this. You and Torga are always on the same page, right? No. It's like you're designed to say the worst thing possible sometimes. And it's like, yeah, don't compare us to those two. I don't want to be, well, maybe I do want to be. I'm very conflicted about the relationship that I have with Torga. I'm not going to talk to you about it. Either way, we're doing some deeper soul searching right now. We're reflecting the rose seal as well. It's just an act. Do you think I'd associate with somebody like that for any other reason? Is all this stuff every single time been a lie? Been a fakeness that has been happening to me? My ring as well, the ring that Torga gave me, the rose seal, was that all a lie as well? Yeah, the more that I think about it, Utena's got something coming with her prince. Like, she has this fantasy in her head about what she think happened, but that may not be correct. Then this may have been manipulation the entire time, and she may have to learn that. Oh shit, yeah, that's definitely what we're doing. Oh fuck. Yeah, this prince guy, whoever it is, they're no good. You have an idealized image of a prince and not the reality of who that guy actually is. For sure. That's where we're going. Oh, in a very interesting turn of events, we have Choo-Choo handing Nanami the phone. She answers it, and there's a really, really like high-pitched voice. It almost sounds like the Shadow Girls. And then at the end of the day, tell me your name. It's the end of the world. It's Akio's voice. Torga Kiryu is waiting. And then from there, I was pretty sure I knew where the rest of the episode was going. It was going to be car ride, fucking Absolute Destiny Apocalypse into a duel. We hear the music start up. Nanami, we're going to take you on a trip. Do you hear the noise? All that stuff. But the question she's asking here is like, do you know who the end of the world is now? It's like, why do you ask? Even now, I still love you, big brother. No matter how you feel about me, but I know we can never go back to the way we used to be because of the information that I've learned. That's why I requested a transfer today. So Nanami was going to run away. In the same way that she was already running away from Torga, being in that kind of chairman house, right? Being with Anchi and Akio only reminds me of those same feelings. I need to continue to run away, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't intend to see you anymore, but there's one last thing I wanted to know about the real you, and then there's a transfer request. So I think he got wind of her transfer request. I think that's the implication here. And then we interrupt that. Hey, can you hear it? If your soul has not truly given up, you'll hear the car engine. I talked about it during the reaction. There definitely is something to like the self-fulfilling prophecy angle of it, right? Like it's manipulation again. Like, I'm making you feel like you're inspired and you like feel like you're revolutionizing shit right now by saying, hey, you hear that? You hear it, right? That means you're chosen. That means you're special, right? And that means you get to go in this car and drive off and do whatever else, right? When in reality, it was all just planning by you. There is something in that. There's textbook manipulation. And then, yeah, you hear that sound that races around the rest of the world, end of the world, blah, 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 blah. Get in the fucking car. And then, yeah, hey, it's time for your drive. Come along in the car with us. And we have our jazzy, jaunty car ride. And I love, who is this guy? What do you mean, who is this guy? You've been living with him. That's not what I meant. This man isn't normal. In what way? I saw him. Saw what? He slept with his sister, so he wasn't normal. But here's the thing, right? You always loved your brother, but did you lust after your brother? Right? I don't think you ever did, unless I'm like misremembering. Like you doted after him and you wanted to possess him at points and all that other stuff, right? And that led to, again, your sense of self, building of that kind of stuff, right? But I don't think you ever wanted to sleep with him, mostly because you like hadn't even really hit puberty yet, so you didn't really understand what that was all about. So now you see two siblings doing it, right? And then you're like, that's kind of fucked up. And you think like this man isn't normal, I don't want to be associated, all that other kind of stuff. But now I like can't even say it. It's too awful. I also can't say it in front of you because again, you were my brother at some point. What do you see with your eyes? Merely your own world, the world you perceive, the world in which you exist. Again, sounds like cult leader talk. Basically, he's just like telling her in a convoluted way to open her mind to new opportunities. Like incest, right? And at that same point, we have Torga trying to initiate the incest, which is always good, which Nanami yells, let me go, blah, 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 blah. I thought we were going a really bad direction there, but we didn't, which was nice. We push Torga away. I don't want anything to do with that. Isn't this what you always wanted? No. We aren't really brother and sister. No, that's not what I wanted. So again, the whole time, and I probably messed this up to now as well. This is definitely what we're talking about. Again, this Cinderella thing that we were talking about in episode 30 as well. The difference between a younger girl's idea of love and what somebody puberty's idea of love is when you start to learn different things and that kind of thing, right? It's also pretty clearly an element of every other girl in the school wants to do it with Torga. If I wanted and did it with my brother, I'd be just like every other girl. I'd even be just like Archie, a girl that I've not liked up to this point. No, I don't want to do that. I want to continue to be special and differentiate myself from everybody else. Again, that is only one element of the complex web of emotions that Nanami is going through. It's insane. This is the next step. I don't want to do it with you, Torga. I don't want to have sex with you. I want to have a fairy tale-esque, just normal, like, loving relationship with you. You know, the one that was in my head from a very young age. That's what I want. However, against her will, time keeps marching forward and things change. Then what is it that you want? She opens her eyes, she starts to think, and then we're going to reveal to the end of the world to Nanami now as well. Now, I don't know what changed here with Nanami, right? But now she's on the fucking warpath. She's just going to beat up everybody. So we start off with Kaiko starting to like tease Nanami, right? Because again, starting off where she left off in the other conversation. So I'm struggling how, like, okay, I guess you get the feeling of, like, Suobuki, right? Remember how Suobuki just wanted to burn everything to the ground? I think that's kind of what you're doing. Like, okay, what do you really want out of all of this, right? Now that you've learned what you've learned, what is your next move? I'm just gonna fucking wreck shit. That's what Nanami's thinking. Even in the framing here, you can tell she's about to get her ass beat. Apparently it's payback time, but Nanami, again, different ideas. I'm gonna fucking beat your ass. We cut to Anshi, who also is getting beaten up, leaving the beating up of the other girls to be implied. Jesus Christ. She went fucking ham. So who is she beating up? She's beating up Kaiko and the two friends there, the ones that like Torga, that wanted him sexually, right? That kind of stuff, right? So I beat up them. I beat up anybody that has this kind of knowledge, right? And I'm also going to beat up Anshi, right? I'm not like her. I'm not like these other girls as well, right? I have something different with Torga, and I want to get that out there. And yeah, we're gonna we have like Choo Choo hostage or something. So that's like we're gonna kill Choo Choo if you don't duel with me. That's kind of the enticing element there for Utena, I guess. I do think it's very, very interesting that Nanami goes for this like destructive response in kind of reaction to all of this, right? She's like, fuck this shit. I don't agree with what everybody's doing. I'm just going to beat up everybody. Now, this Shadow Girl segment, we have one person that's doing a magic trick where they do psychokinesis or something. They bend a spoon. And then it's like, oh, I can't believe you did that. You must be fake. You must be faking it somehow, right? And then he does it again. He's done it many, many, many times, right? Well, if it's a trick then, how am I doing it? How should I know? You con artist? And then we bend her. Okay. The magic guy, the con artist, is Torga slash Archeo, who's in control of what's going on, right? And we're bending various spoons. So again, cutlery, you can read into that however you will, but I'm seeing the cutlery as all these random women that are doting around Torga, right? So I bend you, right? Cool. Throw that away. How dare you bend that? I bend another one. Okay, throw that away. Okay, then how am I doing the trick then? It's like, well, I refuse to engage with that at all. And as a result, I'm getting bent as well and getting manipulated and all that kind of stuff. And this is Nanami. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what else you could read into that as, like basically at all. Then we do Absolute Destiny Apocalypse, and we can go to about here generally. I do love the character posing on Nanami here in a second though, right there. So again, something I noted very, very early, there's no bride here. Like Torga isn't even on that right side of the car. I don't think Nanami even gets out of the car, right? Yeah, she's just already on the bonnet. So we didn't even really have a driver, right? Torga gets out of the passenger side again, I believe. One of them. And anyway, like, this isn't like Cosway and Mickey coming up here. There isn't like a male and a female equivalent. It isn't like that. It isn't as direct as that. Instead, we have Nanami in the position of Archeo, the powerful position on the bonnet of the car, fucking looking sexy as hell, that kind of vibe, right? And that's important for what she says next. So I don't want to be betrothed to anybody or anybody be betrothed to me. I want to stand on top of this thing solo. I want to do something that makes me superior in the eyes of my brother, right? Kind of trying to undermine his purported superiorness based on all these other relationships that I had. I was important in my relation to my brother, to Torga. I can't let him do that again. So I want to be more important than him. I want him to be special in that he's related to me. So I want to ascend to the top, and that's the reason why I'm dueling you, Utena, right? She's, again, dodging this entire question of the lustful element to any of it, right? In her own way, she continues to run away by doing this. She's running away by girl bossing too hard. It's kind of based. Nanami came here of her own free will. It's her own business. You shouldn't interfere with this business between us. Yep, I want to surpass everything. If I beat you in a duel, I'll surpass my brother, the person I was, everything, right? Because I couldn't beat you before. That's another element. But Torga couldn't beat you before, which is the other part of it. And you're the object of Torga's affection. If I can beat you in his mind, maybe he will start to dote after me in turn, maybe still holding on to some semblance of this relationship. And then, as always, we'll do the song and then we'll go back and do the scene. The perspective of the Palace of Natural Brethren. Spherical expansion, planar contraction. Okay, we're talking intergalactic again. The world of all creation, also very egg-like, true. Sorcery, aesthetics, astronomy. Me, you, the study of our nature, yay? Yay! Awesome. Sorcery, aesthetics, astronomy, the perspective of the Palace of Natural Brethren, imagined reality, copied form, natural fantasy, sorcery, aesthetics, astronomy, me, you, the study of our nature, yay. Saturn's orbit, a circumscribed, not circumcised, platonic sphere. Sure, Saturn. Saturn is often referred to as the disciplinarian of the zodiac and is about long-term goals and structure. That's interesting in this kind of pursuit of being the top of everything. Okay. Just thought it'd be interesting to look up what Saturn means there. Jupiter's orbit and an inscribed platonosphere. Anyway, I'm struggling with that word. Jupiter is next to Saturn and is a lot bigger. Then we're talking about Earth and Venus. All right, maybe it's less specific than I thought. My orbit, a circumscribed platonic sphere. I am a child of platonic astronomy. I am a child of planetary astronomy. The 5 solid bodies are my descendants. Are those the ones I just said? So my orbit, I'm a planet. You are the child of the mysterious Nazca? Nazca? Like in America? All these stuff about children and parents is interesting as well, with the revelations at the very end about adoption. Imaginary solid bodies are your descendants. You, me, our nature, free will and existence. Me, you, our nature, free will and existence. Yay! And then, yeah, we go from there and we beat her ass. I've got nothing for you on that song. I'm sorry, chat room. That was a whole bunch of nothing for me. Again, I'm willing and able to hear other people's analysis. Yeah, the song has a really good momentum to it, though. I like it from that perspective. Along with a lot of the fighting animation here in a second is, like, really, really good. Like, look at her go here, bro. That kind of stuff, right? Yeah, fucking awesome. We're focusing in again on the apple. So we must think of the apple here and its use here in reference to what Akio is doing with Kanai, and as a result, doing with his sibling as well in Archie. So he possesses the apple right now, and he's sticking forks into it, and he's feeding it to other people, and all that other kind of stuff, right? Is the end point of a relationship that you have with your brother the same thing, where he's going to possess your apple and be able to tell you what to do and control over you? And is that something that you eventually want? That's what's being considered in the narrative by the presentation of information here. I already think Nanami's making better moves here, which is away from the moves that Anchi made, presumably, which was towards the more sexual stuff once she matured, going fully into that, right? Nanami is resisting, and as a result, she's just like, I'm just going to ignore everything and try to be better and just try to beat up everybody as a result. But when this tact fails, she's left heartbroken and distraught at everything. She's lost everything. She's at her lowest point. Yeah, again, there's the apple that I'm talking about, right? The other thing we consider here is the cat, right? I was sure there was a bond between me and my big brother, right? However, if we're not related at all, right? If we're not related at all, then I'm just like the cat that I hate, right? I'm just like this little freak cat in the middle here, right? Now, I thought that there was something special between us based on this old stuff, right? But that was never the truth. And the cat's just watching along. This is how I saw the situation, right? The cat was watching along, it was adopted, it doesn't have the same special familial connection that we have, therefore they're irrelevant and I can disregard them accordingly, and that basically makes up my sense of self and my personality. This is all being shattered right now. I am just like the cat. I am just like the people on the cell phone. I am extremely normal, right? And what I have for my hot big brother is extremely normal as well. As a result, she makes a last-ditch effort here as well to claim some uniqueness back, right? That's a big part of this as well. I want to be at the top. I want to surpass everything to become unique again. Now, we must remember what the cat represents as well. The cat was a stand-in for Utena during that kind of two episode little dealy with Nanami very early in the show. In that same way, I am now just the same as Utena, right? And how do I hope to compete with her when she's already that unique, when she's already standing out that much? This is more what this battle is about. It's a battle between me and the cat, in essence, right? But again, as always, when she tried to kill the cat, the box was open, it could have jumped out. There still is hope for you yet. And that's what this line here is about as well, because like, Utena tries to reason with her, right? Did there have to be one? Does there have to be a connection there? Whatever the form, as long as the feelings are there, believe that if you want, I know where those feelings lead. They lead to death, right? Because I'm the one that killed the cat, right? And yeah, there's that cut in there of Torga, like hugging onto the cat, bringing it close. I know where those feelings lead. Like, the cat was more special than I was back in the day, and I needed to take it out. The same thing I'm trying to do here. Like, I know where those feelings lead. It leads to me becoming irrelevant. And I don't want to be irrelevant. I don't want to be just another nobody. So that's why, again, she feels like she needs to do what she's doing now. That is her end of the world. However, the plan, everything at play here, the overbearing structure, the people that are manipulating the puppet strings, they have different plans, right? And it's not Utena's time to go yet. So she's just going to win again. Again, it's being directed like a stage show. And the prince comes back down again and takes her out, just like another episode, right? Emphasizing Nanami's lack of uniqueness. She's just like anybody else. Everybody else that's come up here is lost. The car's spiraled out. She's lost her rose. Tell me what's left for me. Am I just one more fly in the swarm? So that, again, it shows how much she regards the general man. Not very much at all. But yeah, you are. You're just like everybody else. You're not the best. You haven't been chosen or deemed correct here at this point. But you would only be deemed correct by a corrupt system anyway, right? And where's the joy in that? You need to do some soul searching, right? I'm doing this a lot this episode. I say something poignant and then I don't extrapolate it out the way I should. So again, the tragedy of this Nanami situation isn't the general circumstance and what happens to her and blah 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 blah. That's not the tragedy. That's why I didn't have a strong emotional reaction, and that's why I'm having a reaction now when I understand it. And again, I kind of hit the nail on the head there. You only deem yourself as valuable based on the opinions of a system that has your worst interests in mind. Torga, Akio, the end of the world, those are the things that they would value in you. You need to look internal to yourself and find your own set of values, Nanami. That is so, so, so important for growing up. And even kind of frames some of this stuff that she's going through right now as necessary in growing up, right? And again, now you extrapolate this out to the rest of the world, right? Nanami has been brought up in a system that is like, hey, you should be like this to this person, and you will be rewarded with success and a good life and a good structure and a good home and all these other things. Your value as ascribed to the man that you love and the man that's associated to you, as well as your bloodlines, which are also largely patriarchal based stuff, right? Where again, Nanami's revolution and the revolution that we're trying to get at in the entire show as a whole means that this kind of stuff should be irrelevant. You shouldn't need to feel like this at the end of the road when you find failure, when you are cast aside by somebody that has social status. You should feel confident and safe and secure in yourself and your environment and your situation that you shouldn't need this anymore. That's the tragedy. That's her tragedy. That's the episode title from before. No. Okay. So I got the episode. I got there. I get why people think this one's really sad now. Fuck. I didn't expect to feel this kind of way about Nanami very early in the show. Let's put it that way. I've come around on her big time. Even, again, I saw... My opinion dropped a lot of Nanami around the cat stuff. I was like, that's a no-go. You shouldn't be killing animals. But now I understand why she felt she had to kill the animal now, based on the rest of the context presented. And it makes a whole bunch more sense. So now when reconsidering Nanami as a character, I can definitely see the tragedy and definitely see why people were so forgiving of her early in the show. I'm like, why are people saying all this stuff? This is why. This episode. Man, it's fucking really good. This one might be another top 5 episode, which I feel like I've been saying quite often. And yeah, this is a terrible moment for Nanami. This is definitely her lowest point. Definitely. And then here's the revelation at the very end. So the deal is that it turns out that Torga and Nanami are related by blood, after all, right? It's just that they both got adopted by a family at the same time. It was like a 2-kid deal, right? We're going to adopt both of you. So they both don't have a connection to their parents. Whatever she was like, it seemed like Nanami was very proud of her B blood type based off her family lineage. It doesn't exist. But more to the point, it goes to show that this entire thing has been manipulation by Torga and Akio. Like, you should clear up that misunderstanding. But I find the idea of a brother and sister not related by blood much more romantic, don't you? It's almost like romanticism is the most important point here, and if it's hot or not, rather than the actual truth, or not manipulating people, or not fucking with people's heads. And as we say that, we're in a bed boning together, just kind of watching the show. It's like they're watching TV in bed. And then again, that rose seal phone, something that I thought was just a funny little thing before, it was actually set up manipulation. Oh shit, this goes back all the way. So when she steals the phone from Torga when he's in the shower, right? That was already a setup. That's why it had a rose seal on it, right? Because it's all part of the end of the world and all part of everything there. And all these calls that we're getting, they're all just manipulation as well. Oh shit, I didn't realize that. That's kind of cool too. So yeah, I mean, sucks for Nanami. But again, that's not where I thought these 2 episodes were going, because we pretty much ended here, right? Like, yeah, cool. So yeah, that's not where I thought this shit was going, like, at all. Sucks for Nanami. 2 good episodes again. I really enjoyed analyzing them again, of course. But what happens now? There's not that many episodes left, and I still think shit's got to hit the fan here at some point. I guess we have ample time. There's probably, 2-ish hours of screen time left? That's enough. It's enough. 2 or 3 hours. So yeah, I mean, I'll see you guys next week. Apparently 33 is a big one, so look forward to that. Hopefully Nanami can feel better on the other side of this, where she doesn't need to feel this uniqueness and this specialness. But again, all of this, I feel, is set up for Utena. We're reflecting Utena a lot through this as well. And Utena's denseness and not realizing her own, I guess, stake in all of this. How similar her and Nanami are, and applying some of these lessons learned. She's not seeing anything at the moment, and that bodes poorly again. I'll see you next week. I'm gonna shut it off now. But thanks for watching. Shill stuff, Patreon. You can see the next one a week early if you pay me. That kind of vibe. All right, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Ciao.